Next, we're bringing up a local. Come on up, Laurie. I've got a microphone for you. Laurie is the CEO of a company called Mijem, Newcomm Technologies. She's from here in Toronto, just down the street. Here, you hold this, take a seat. And we're going to have a conversation about what her company does, which is a student marketplace, especially focused on college students, and how they're using BSV for consumer incentives and loyalty programs, which are very important to attract people. Hi, Laurie.
Hi, am I
Tell
on?
us about yourself.
About me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Talk a little louder, too, because it's loud.
Great to be here.
Perfect.
I'm the CEO of Mijem, and I have been involved in and around digital technology for most of my career, and launched a number of platforms, consumer-focused platforms, and recently got introduced to Mijem and the BSV world, and now here I am.
Great. So let's talk about Mijem. So here's a snapshot of its homepage. It's a community app where you can buy and sell things, particularly targeting college students. And here's an example of the things people can sell. These are like electronic devices. Tell us how Mijem works.
Sure. So I usually describe Mijem as like a Kijiji for students or an Opera for students. So we've specifically targeted the Gen Z community, the sort of college and university 18 to 26 demographic, and we're really focused in on them. So our app allows students, when they download our app, it allows them to join one or more campus communities like the University of Toronto or the University of Buffalo, which creates an instant peer network.
Right.
They can buy and sell anything associated with kind of that school experience. If you think about the things students need, they need textbooks, they need to find a place to live, they need
a used smartphone
everything
that someone else is selling them.
Exactly.
Maybe, right? Mm-hmm.
So they can do that, and they can easily transact through the platform, and they earn loyalty points. And they can convert those points, and we'll be talking more about that.
Got it. So it's kind of like eBay for college students.
Yeah, for college. Yeah.
How long has this been launched?
So Mijem itself has been actually around since 2015. So that feels like a long time in this world. It is a long time,
yeah.
But we're currently in over 1,500 colleges and university campuses across North America, and we have commercial relationships with over 70 universities.
Wow. How many users do you have registered approximately?
So we've got, so the interesting thing about, of course, being college and university is it's a bit cyclical, right?
Right, yeah.
So you think about that college and university program, and it's, it's every 4 years. Mm-hmm. So we've got over 144,000 downloads to date, and our community fluctuates depending upon the time of the year.
Got it. And so the company did not start with any blockchain use, but has now been adding it. And the company is now public. Tell us about that. It's a publicly listed trading company.
So Mijem went public on, you're going to test me here, I think January 6th of this year, which was a very exciting moment for Mijem. And
congratulations.
It took a couple of years, but we got there.
Okay, awesome. Now let's talk about how you give loyalty points to your users and how that uses Bitcoin SV. So here's a snapshot with some fun piggy banks.
Yeah, so the interesting thing, if anybody has, nieces, nephews, kids, family who are in college and university, student debt is a really, really big issue. I mean, it can be thousands and thousands of dollars. So one of the things we wanted to do to help students is we wanted to introduce a loyalty program, which obviously increases the stickiness of the app. So the way it works is for every US dollar that's transacted on the Mijem platform, on either the buy side or the sell side, the student, the user earns a point, and those points can be converted to Bitcoin SV. We have an integrated digital wallet, and we launched that program in the first quarter of this year.
Great, awesome. And so people earn the native BSV coin. Are you ever thinking about creating your own branded loyalty point or coin, or sticking with native BSV?
I think at this point we're going to stick with native BSV. We're going, the loyalty program was the first sort of utility that we launched in the app, and we see huge potential for other applications of BSV to this particular demographic.
Yeah, tell us about that. Obviously, you're rewarding users with BSV coins for their use. What other ways are you thinking about using BSV?
Well, I mean, if you just think about everybody who kind of proceeded on the panel. You think about kind of the natural affinity. Gen Z is a pretty well, actually, I'm not going to say they're crypto savvy. 50% of Gen Z is, believes that crypto coin is going to be, the currency of the future. And, depending upon the stats, 17% of that same demographic is currently involved in the crypto market. So if you think about the natural extension, you think of gaming, you think of buy-sell, you think of incentive and rewards, and all of the things that we can do both in our platform and in the broader BSV ecosystem, that's just really aligned with what this demographic is looking for.
And when someone earns a reward in BSV, like about how much, is that in fiat currency terms, approximately?
So it's a 1-to-1, right? So
Okay.
So if you, let's say you buy a textbook for $10, you get a point for every US dollar.
Okay, got it. And so sending even $1 is not efficient with today's payment systems, but you can send your users these small amounts of money efficiently with BSV.
Yeah, when we were looking at how we were going to introduce a loyalty program and how could we obviously had the the integrated wallet, but how should we, what cryptocurrency should we go with? I mean, there was a number of things about BSV that really attracted us. First of all, obviously, micropayments, very inexpensive to transact. I mean, that's helpful to us as an organization, and it's helpful to it's helpful to our users. But we also looked at some of the things that are very important to this demographic, things like sustainability, and with BSV being green, very green in terms of on the scale of things. I mean, this is something that's important to the demographic.
Right, because as you've all read about, there's a lot of criticism of blockchain and Bitcoin mining as environmentally unfriendly, and I get asked all the time, isn't proof of work mining, which is what BSV uses since it's the Bitcoin protocol, isn't that energy inefficient? And my answer is always you cannot evaluate whether energy used for Bitcoin mining is efficient or not unless you weigh it against what is the utility and value used. The world uses lots of electricity to power Facebook, Amazon, right, Google, but we get a lot of value for it. With BTC, and there's been studies including done by M&P, the consulting firm here in Canada, that have looked at the main chains and found BSV to be far the most energy efficient of the Bitcoin competing chains because we process so many more transactions and data for a less amount of energy, so the energy required per transaction is much lower. You can't look at the energy in the abstract. It needs to be kind of balanced against how many transactions and utility are you processing.
Yeah, and this matters. It matters.
It matters a lot to your generation.
It matters a lot to our generation.
Customers.
It's a really big issue, and we're happy to be able to.
Yeah, and I love that you're advertising on your website, Bitcoin SV is more green than the BTC version of Bitcoin. Now, let's talk about this program, which our association, which I lead, was very pleased to partner with you on. Tell us about how you're helping students reduce student debt with us.
I'm happy to do that. So, I mentioned student debt a little earlier. It's a huge issue for college and community students, and the COVID-19 pandemic really disproportionately, hit this demographic in terms of, their ability to cope with it. So. We were thinking, well, how can we help? How can we help this demographic? So what we did is we reached out to our friends here, and we said, well, wouldn't it be a great idea if we could do two things? If we could help students with the debt they've accumulated and, like we say, take a chunk, and at the same time promote BSV and help them kickstart if they don't already have a digital portfolio, a crypto portfolio, help them kickstart. So we pitched. And we decided it would be a great idea to work together. We started the campaign in mid-April. We decided to do it for a fairly long period of time, and actually it ends on Monday night.
Great.
So we've had a great response and a ton of impressions and media, and really, really happy with it.
So one student in Canada and one in the U.S. is going to win $5,000 in BSV to use to their
combined
education.
Prize, $2,500 in cash, either U.S. dollars or Canadian dollars, and $2,500 in BSV.
Great. So some fiat currency.
It's a great prize.
Some BSV.
So if you have nieces, nephews,
got
anybody
anyone in
that
college,
age group, go
you
to
have till Monday.
Mijem.com.
They have till Monday to enter.
Monday at midnight.
And how do they enter?
So a few things. They have to be a Mijem user, which is as simple as downloading the app, and they go to our Mijem.com website. They'll need a digital wallet. We have one in the app, so they can either use our integrated digital wallet, or if they've already got one, that's okay too. And they go to the website and they enter the contest. It's a ballot system, and 2 winners, like you said, 1 U.S., Canada, random draw. They have to be a student, though. They have to be a student
and a registered user
and
of Mijem.
registered for for the upcoming either the summer or the fall semester.
Great. So your last chance, and our organization was happy to sponsor and help fund this with you, using BSV to build a world of good.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. So let's talk about the future of Mijem. Any business product plans that you want to tell our audience about, and how can people here work with your company?
Sure. So, I mean, you as I mentioned earlier, our Bitcoin SV loyalty program is really our first entry into the BSV world, and we see lots of other opportunities. What we're looking at right now in terms of the product roadmap is launching a BSV directory referral program where we want to introduce our college community student population to all of the other BSV opportunities, whether it's gaming or financial services or whatever it is that are available. So that's something that we're looking at right now. It's in product development, and we hope to launch that out later this year.
Okay. Anything else you would like to talk to about for the non-BSV companies out here, about any advice you can give them about a blockchain journey for companies who are like yours, not on blockchain or using cryptocurrency, digital currency now? What are lessons you or company has learned along the way with integrating with BSV? Integrating
with BSV? So I guess if I could say one thing, it was that we found the process very simple. It was very, it was easy. It was not a difficult decision for us. As I mentioned earlier, thinking about the financial impact of launching a loyalty program and then, allowing for the conversion into BSV. I mean, we had to look at the impact of that, and it just made sense. So it's been, it has been seamless so far. And as we look about how the ecosystem is expanding, and how every day more things are happening, more options are out there. I mean, we think about incentivizing, right? How do we incentivize our user base?
Get and keep users.
To get users, to expand the ecosystem, and there's just more options every single day.
Yeah, just as Tyler said, all apps companies need users, customers. And so a great example of how companies can use a digital currency, in this case native BSV, or perhaps a loyalty token built on a blockchain like BSV, to create consumer loyalty and incentives. Because I think as consumers, we're kind of tired of just getting points, right? You collect the points and you can kind of redeem them, for plane tickets and stuff once in a while, but getting things that is actually immediately liquid and usable in the form of native BSV, which then you can use to play on their Haste Arcade game, and you can use to, buy an NFT instantly, I think is something that the Gen Z and the younger generations are going to want.
Yeah, I mean, for those who are actually sort of native Canadians and who know about our loyalty programs, we have archaic loyalty programs in this country. Things like Air Miles, where anybody that knows, you earn loyalty points for 25 years and maybe you can buy a toaster. Right. So the options that BSV offers to Gen Z, who see literally little or no value in some of the traditional loyalty programs, is considerable.
Yeah, an interoperable currency, BSV, as opposed to a separate rewards point for every company that you can only use with that company or its partners.
Yeah, and we're also looking at how can we incentivize certain behaviors. We've been talking to colleges and universities and campuses around some of the challenges they have in terms of their student base and how do they digitize things and how might they use secure blockchain and BSV, and it's just
incentivize education,
exciting.
such as in South Africa, as Joe DePinto was talking about.
Exactly.
Anyways, Laurie, awesome talking to you. Thank you for coming out to AIBC, and hope you all talk to Laurie and learn a lot more about Mijem and help them. I think it's a fantastic company.
Thank you. Pleasure.